A disappointing day on our market, the ASX closing lower on the back of falling iron ore and mining stocks. Scott Phillips from Motley Fool is here to break it all down for us. Scott, the US markets have been in a funk and they're dragging us down with them.
Jane, good evening. That's a very good summary of what's been happening over the last couple of days. The combination of some concern about US earnings and the US government's credit downgrade from rating agency Fitch is really weighing on sentiment. The market wondering whether it was too optimistic and maybe didn't allow for enough bad news potentially to come down the pike. And as you rightly say, the old line, when the US sneezes, Australia catches a cold, remains very, very true.
And we've just hit an unwelcome retail spending milestone here at home, Scott.
Yeah, for the first time since the GFC, we've had 3 consecutive quarters of negative retail sales. That's 9 months. Now, not every month was negative, but in quarterly buckets, we have seen negative numbers for the best part of a year. No surprise, those of us keeping an eye on retail, no surprise for anybody who's trying to deal with both inflation and interest rates. But it does remind us, I think, of the challenges facing the economy, particularly, as I said, the worst set of numbers in the best part of 15 years.
And so I guess all of this creates a pretty interesting backdrop ahead of the RBA's latest statement out tomorrow.
Yeah, it really does. And it's a really good point you make, because the RBA, having made their decision on Tuesday about interest rates, they release what they call the Statement on Monetary Policy tomorrow. And it really will make a broader sweep of the economic circumstances, the way the RBA is thinking about the economy, what's going on, what the risks and opportunities are. Those retail sales numbers probably pretty much upmost among their concerns, among their thinking when it came to the last rates decision. Their forecasts and their commentary out tomorrow will make very fascinating reading. And
before we let you go, what are we expecting overnight on Wall Street?
I wish I could say the news was going to get better, Jane, but unfortunately, at least for now, in early US futures trading, we are expecting yet another decline, something close to about 0.3%. Unfortunately, if that is the case, we might struggle for a gain here tomorrow, but we can always cross our fingers.
We certainly will. We'll keep our fingers crossed. Thanks again, Scott. We always appreciate your insight into all things finance.
Yeah, very kind. Thank you, Jane.
Now let's get your national weather forecast with Natalia Cooper.
Thanks, Jane. That powerful system that brought wild storms to WA is expected to hit Victoria and Tasmania next, with warnings in place. I'll have the national forecast next. Welcome back. Wild storms hit parts of WA overnight with a 126km/h gust recorded. A number of spots also had their wettest August day in many years, and there was even snow this morning on WA's Bluff Knoll. To the chart, and that powerful frontal system will hit Victoria and Tasmania next. Parts of both of those states have had severe weather warnings issued. Let's take a closer look at the national forecast now. In Brisbane will be partly cloudy and 23 tomorrow. Sydney is expecting a very similar forecast. Canberra will be mostly sunny and 18 degrees. Melbourne is looking wet and windy with potentially damaging gusts about nearby hills. Morning showers and 17 in Hobart. Showers in the morning and afternoon for Adelaide with a top of 18. Perth will be mostly sunny but still cold again tomorrow. And warm conditions up in Darwin, going for 32 degrees. Looking ahead to the first day of the weekend, in Brisbane will be mostly sunny and 23 once again. Sydney could get an afternoon or evening shower or two. Canberra also expecting a shower or two and a max of 15 degrees. Cloudy and just 13 the top in Melbourne. Cooling down in Hobart too, also going for 13 degrees. Adelaide also feeling the chill with 14, the warmest it will get there on Saturday. Skies remaining clear in Perth, but thankfully warming up to the high teens, and Darwin bringing that winter warmth, going for 33 degrees after a low of 22. And some really cold air sitting behind that frontal system will cause those temperatures to plunge on Saturday. Jane?
Winter's not done yet. Thank you, Natalia. And that is Nine's late news for this Thursday. Our next news is at 5 a.m, followed by the Today Show. Thanks for your company. I'm Jane Goldsmith. Good night.